Uf, menos mal, a tiempo. A ver, regular. Ahora toca a Warner Bros. Games. Muy bueno a todos los que están viendo el directo. A ver, tenemos a el Kumite. Muy bueno, Don Kumite. Se me laguea el directo cuando entro al YouTube, así que no. Hay que ver contenido caliente. Oye, que Warner Bros. Tenía como media hora, si no me equivoco. Porque luego viene el PC Gamer a 5 media.
Before we get there, though, let's start off with the reveal of a brand new PvP trailer and see what it's like in action.
A ver. Para mostrar que una trama de Back 4 Blood. Sí. Este juego tipo Left 4 Dead. Igual que Left 4 Dead se ve en el título. Vale. La expresión de la cara. De que era estético. No sé si van a mostrar algo malo de Warner Bros, pero espero que muestren algo malo. Y por lo que ahora se está pegando en el directo. Se está pegando. A ver. Cha. No se puede encontrar zombie. Pero el acceso a la beta comienza el 5 de agosto. Se ve hermoso. Pero me corre. No me corre. Brandon Yanes, que es en diseño.
Of course, so just like our previous titles, we really enjoy bringing new ideas to the table while retaining the spirit of the genre that we're working in. So Back 4 Blood's PvP is heavily inspired by our previous titles and makes survival, fast action, massive monsters.
O sea, se ve genial el diseño de los monstruos, pero no.
Make a balanced and fun PvP mode with just as much replayability as the main campaign.
So what's the structure of the PvP like? Do you play in rounds? Can you play as both cleaners and ridden in one match, or are we swapping between the two?
Yeah, so it's played as a best of 3 match. Teams of 4 take turns swapping between the ridden and cleaner players. The job of the cleaners is to scour supplies, place on the map,
no soy bueno traduciendo cosas.
The ridden's main objective is to kill the cleaners as fast as they can.
Cosas
This is achieved by choosing the right ridden to counter the other team's strategy, using mutation upgrades, and by coordinating attacks with other AIs and players. As the round progresses, the swarm moves in.
Oye, sería genial jugar este juego, jugar con el Left 4 Dead. O sea, yo lo tengo comprado. No sé si alguien podrá jugarlo. El en serio tiene, pero no sé si alguien. La idea es que puedan jugar Left 4 Dead, ¿no? O un juego de zombies. Aunque yo soy terrible manco, pero igual.
Now, I understand you can play as
No
all
tan manco como el 6.
in both co-op and PvP. Do you have a favorite character that you play as?
So I have a couple. I play Mom a lot. She's a badass with a sawed-off shotgun. She adds a lot of
Pero si ya estoy en Discord, Kumite.
She can also instantly help teammates that are falling during battle. All of our cleaners have special perks, so that one is hers.
Let's jump into another trailer that goes a little more in depth on the Ridden's progression through PvP. Check it out.
Creeker, Wretch, Explorer. Si tenéis que jugar para el todos por si acaso, si es que no, no me veis. Métete a la serie. No sé cuál Discord te referís. Eh, eh, Buenos días, señor. ¿Te deja el programa? Más o menos, estoy medio solo, pero intento mantener
Brandon, we
el habla.
just saw that each different Ridden has their own variants as well as their own
Sí.
mutations on each variant. So can you expand a little more on these special abilities and how they work?
Sure. So
Eso
at
decía.
the start of each
Sí,
round,
eso decía.
players can choose between 9 playable Ridden, each with their own unique abilities. So for example, the Stalker can pounce a player and pull them away from their team, or an Exploder can time their detonation in the middle of a group of cleaners and fling them all in separate directions.
Now, knowing that each Ridden has these different abilities, how do they change and improve
Entonces esto es como una venganza, algo así.
a match and improve the Ridden's chance of winning?
So as the Ridden battle against the cleaners, they gain points. They can spend these points on team-wide upgrades called mutations. Mutations upgrade and improve a lot of different things on the Ridden side, from adding effects to their abilities. They might buff the common AI waves in size and strength. So the really cool thing
La estoy
is
viendo en
the
Twitch por si
effect of
acaso,
the whole team. And they persist between rounds. So as a Ridden team starts to coordinate their upgrades.
Espera un poco.
What are some strategies that the Ridden team can take on in
Es
order
que
to
si yo salgo del OBS, se me laguea.
Cleaners are really sticking together. You can swap to the Wretch and vomit on their location. That's going to cause them to spread out, right? This is going to open up a whole bunch of opportunities for your other Ridden players to attack, right? So if you get them to spread out and there's a Stalker nearby, Stalker use the
Yo
chaos
esperaba que
to
igual me
grab one of
mostrara
the
más que
cleaners
esto.
and drag them off into the swarm. The Wretch's vomit also slows their victims, so if a tall boy who's naturally pretty slow can attack one of those slow characters, they're going to really be able to pummel them. Another good one is if an Exploder waits for a cleaner to revive their friend, they can use that as an opportunity to charge in and damage on them, sending them flying and doing a massive amount of damage.
Ooh, sounds pretty brutal. So with that being said, which is your favorite Ridden to play as?
That has to be the tall boy. It's pretty easy to pick up and play, and I have a lot of fun hitting cleaners across the map.
Speaking of fun, let's talk about weapons. Now, throughout
Y
the
este ruido
trailers, you can
que
see a
escucho
number of different weapons.
mucho
Can you go a
aire.
little deeper into what those weapons are and how they work?
So we really wanted to expand on the amount of choices the player had in Back 4 Blood.
Ahora sí.
So of course there's handguns, shotguns, LMGs, SMGs, sniper rifles, and a whole bunch of other types of weapons, each with sort of like a unique character feel.
Por lo que veo,
How
sí.
deep does this weapon customization go? I really want to know. What are some of the different attachments and options, and how do they change the gameplay?
O sea,
So
yo juego en Left 4 Dead, pero nunca lo voy a tocar porque nunca he jugado estos tipos de juegos solo.
Stocks, sights, all that good stuff. You can mix and match them. So there's
Me
a ton
da,
of
Last
no sé.
question. Do you have a favorite type of weapon?
Absolutely. So as I said earlier, I really enjoy playing Mom, so her shotgun is definitely at the top of my list.
Ah, that's a solid choice. All right, we've learned a little bit about how it all works, the cleaners, the Ridden, the mutations, as well as how the customization works for the weapons. Thank you so much for joining me, Brandon, and for giving us a little bit more detail on Back 4 Blood's new PvP mode, Swarm.
Thanks for having me. I can't wait for everyone to get their hands on this game. We're all really excited.
I can't wait either. The good news is that you guys won't have to wait too long. There's an open beta coming up on August 12th with an early access portion on August 5th available to those who pre-order. That's all for today, but Back 4 Blood still has a lot more to reveal in the coming months, so stay tuned. Bye.
Mala beta. Pues espero probarlo. Si es que me corre. Me va a pedir RTX. Una RTX.
Awesome PvP mode. That was actually a pleasant surprise for me. When I played the game, you know, and when the alpha was out, I think it was the alpha is what they termed it as. It was, you know, a single player cooperative, right? That kind of experience, Dan. But you know, I love me some good old fashioned unorthodox PvP types of games. I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I played an irresponsible amount of the versus mode in Left 4 Dead and Left 4 Dead 2, in which you get to be both the monsters and the player characters. And Swarm mode that's exactly what I wanted from this game. And
Bueno,
like
ahí tenés su diferencia.
You're going to die no matter what, like you're actually in a horror movie. At least that's what I would do in a horror movie. I would just perish immediately. But here, you have to try and rack up as big of a time as possible and challenge the other team to beat it. I think that's a cool conceit. And like really, it makes it feel distinct from the campaign mode like you might see in the previous game. So I'm excited for it.
Yeah, and Avali, you and I, we both come from an esports background. You know, I see something like that, it looks different, and we know Turtle Rock's history, having tried different games and different unorthodox multiplayer games in the past, but I think that there's some potential there for some fun competition.
I think that, I don't know if I see it as like a full esport, but like a Twitch Rivals or something, or like some fun competitions, like we get a couple G4 hosts together.
Shameless
plug. We start playing, shameless plug. I got you, Jerry. Shameless plug, and then
¿Qué fue lo que
we
más
all play
viste en
together,
Back
we're
4
the
Blood?
zombies, we're the good guys. And we
Construir, pelear,
I wouldn't want to do that in real life.
jugar contra amigos, los trofeos, PvP.
Damon, though, I know you're a single-player guy, but I know you also played a decent amount of Left 4 Dead. So because of this Back 4 Blood, what I like about it is, yes, it is, you know, a PvP, but it still pulls back to the single-player experience very well. And I think for that reason, it should appeal to folks who maybe don't really want to dive into PvP, but enjoy, you know, the gameplay mechanics.
I think there's actually a character or a class just for people like me in the PvP, and that's the Exploder.
Yes.
I'm going to die a lot, but if I
Si
can
no me
take
equivoco,
out a
hasta-
few enemies with me, I don't mind dying so much.
Yeah, exactly. It's all right to just go out there, blow yourself up a few times. You know what, man? It looks like
No cambia mucho.
Do you feel like this is something that you can pick up and play repeated sessions of? Like,
Yeah, I miss having that game where I could just like play with my friends back home and just be really loud and ignorant over comms. Like Left 4 Dead is 1000%.
Pero no se compara.
So we could just wild out
31,
on Discord or
20%.
whatever. But
62.
it's really exciting in the sense that, you know,
Y va subiendo.
Left 4 Dead was a source mod. And so like Turtle Rock obviously made their bread off that, but the production values of Back 4 Blood, you know, this is their
Como
opportunity
medio
to
obvio.
kind of bring back that magic of Left 4 Dead, but like do it on a much bigger scale. And like that presentation that we saw, it's like, yo, we're going all in on this mode with all these classes.
Tanto esfuerzo para el PvP y al final pone
Wild and all sorts of stuff.
para
So
amigos.
it's really promising because that format, that foundation is strong enough already. That can carry a new game, but if you put on like a lot of mechanics on top of that, sold.
And funny enough, we did not mention that Back 4 Blood was also on the Xbox press briefing as well. So you actually saw
Por
a
Square
few of
tuvo
the
que
different
bloquear
elements that are
su,
gonna be coming to this game.
su red.
Something that I
un
love,
rato.
Avali, giant monsters. Giant monsters always a plus.
Oh, giant monsters are freaking amazing. You saw, I think they said like 9 playable ridden that you can be fighting. The huge monster that we ended up seeing, which was like the size of a building, just came in. So I'm trying to figure out like, okay, cool. So we're co-oping this. We're getting in there. We're taking him down together. But then also very excited for the PvP moments because I just can't wait to just throw up on friends. Can't do it in real life, so may as well do it in the game.
That's what's up.
Are you sure you can't do it in real life?
Well, you have a mask on, so it's just going to be like...
We're trying to be COVID safe, GB. Thank you very much.
Totally.
But no, I mean, it just seems like such a fun game. The last time I played Left 4 Dead 2 was quite honestly in middle school. All my friends were older at me and just yelling at me.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, cool. I now see some of the mechanics that Michael was mentioning, being able to kind of like throw up on people and move them out of their hiding spots, or trying to like separate
yo vi que puede controlar a los zombies.
With my newly formed adult brain, try to implement some of these.
Well, you know, if there's one thing a game like Back 4 Blood is good for,
Que
it's
yo
good
dudo
for
que sean
yelling at
zombies, no
friends
lo
and
parecen.
having a good time. And one
Mutante
friend
feo.
who I love yelling at, it's Greg Miller, who's over with Jackie. Greg, take it away.
Thank you, Golden Boy. Always a pleasure to yell at you. Avi's newly formed adult brain.
She's so
El
sweet.
boomer.
Form. At what year does the adult? You know what? We won't. Let's keep talking a little bit about Back 4 Blood.
I was gonna say all of ours is still forming.
Exactly right.
Yeah,
we've
still got a long way.
I'm hurting mine more than I'm helping at this point, I think. What did you think? PvP, Back 4 Blood.
Oh my goodness, I absolutely love everything I've seen with Back 4 Blood.
Yeah.
No sé si estoy viendo el archivo o estoy viendo la parte de Warner. Estoy
tracking every single YouTube video that I can get my hands on. And actually, the co-founder, Phil Robb, it was like in some YouTube video, and he was like, you know, we've had to sit back the last 10 years and watch other people riff on something we created.
Yeah.
And I feel like he's like, y'all, I'm bringing it 100%. We're gonna give you cleaners with depth. We're going to give you ridden with depth.
Of course.
You know, we just heard Amelie and we heard Golden Boy talking about the potential for esports here. You know, wow, do you think there's the potential for that? So a lot of people thinking that as well. I think they're bringing their A game, and I have loved everything I have seen.
I adored Left 4 Dead, but I only played it co-op. I've never been the PvP person.
You're a lover, not a fighter.
Well, it's interesting to get to this point now.
A ver cuando salga.
And talk about this and look for what we just saw. Because I can see me and my friends playing that. I can see Kinda Funny doing streams of that.
Oh, yeah.
And I think this round, you know, best of 3, switch sides, go through who can clear it the fastest in the time. It gets really interesting really quickly. When you have somebody, and I think also about how I guess my, you know, since.
Pero están pagando a full por este juego. Media hora nada más, pero igual.
Preferences have changed because I still think of it as Left 4 Dead and what I do with Left 4 Dead, but in reality, right, there's, for me personally, been Predator Hunting Grounds. There's been Friday the 13th. There's been these different things that are challenging me and my friends groups to go at it, and then switch up the teams, right? When somebody like Snowbike Mike comes in and is way too powerful and is too good as a cleaner, we'll put him over on the ridden side and have that try to balance for it. I thought it sounded really good. I'm right there with you. I like this idea of one of the things they were talking about is, you know, for every round, the area of play shrinking so that it does become you've sat there, you've established your base of operations, and now you've got to move all the way over there.
You know I'm all about that battle royale, so I was like, okay, I'm here for that for sure. So who do you think you're gonna pick? I was leaning towards that. You know me, I'm all melee over here.
I'm with the shotgun.
O sea, si es un escuadrón, tendría que ser un escuadrón de zombies.
With the shotgun, you can't beat that for
sure. And then,
sure.
I mean, what about when you think of the ridden? Who are you thinking?
Honestly, Amelie stole my pick. I want to vomit on people.
Really?
I do.
Es que eso lo veo un poco difícil.
Though being the exploder could be. I agree with Damon as well. That could be really fun.
See,
too.
Crusher, I think I'm in line for. Get them, squeeze them, go. But again, it'll be about building, you know, teams together. 9 playable ridden, a whole bunch of different stuff.
Oh my goodness, we could talk Back 4 Blood for days. I have like pages pages. Right. But want even more details? Back 4 Blood's lead producer sat down with our partners at Reddit for an in-depth AMA. Check it out.
Este es exclusivo. A tener crossplay.
We are going to be supporting this in our up-and-coming beta that people will be able to play this August. And, of course, we also fully intend to support that for the launch of the game. We're going to be supporting 2 modes, PvE and PvP. PvE is your more traditional kind of style, where you're going against the AI with the 4 cleaners against the ridden, and then PvP is where you can fight against other players online. In PvP, we have a separate progression tree that we call the ZMS, which is the Zombie Mutation System. As you play through the game, we grant points to players depending on how well they're doing during each round. And then they're kind of free to spend those points on upgrades to the different zombies that we have, just so we can, you know, they can make them more powerful, cleaner killing machines. Indeed, there's actually going to be plenty of other stuff to keep cleaners occupied. As you're saying, when you're going from safe room to safe room, we're going to have special events in maps. We're going to have some lulls when you're not always getting hoarded by tons and tons of zombies, so you'll have time to explore each map, explore each area, where you'll be able to look for loot or upgrades or attachments to weapons, all that kind of thing. And we'll also have some secondary objectives in each of these maps that players will be able to complete. So yeah,
que lo que incluye.
wasn't in Left 4 Dead, but we're certainly fully aware that a lot of games these days do support that feature. It's pretty common, so it's something we definitely wanted to include so players have that option. And I believe we do have some cards that can disable ADS if that's kind of not your thing. Ooh, I'm probably going to go for 3 different cleaners just to be awkward. I know you only asked me for 1, but I like playing Mum a lot. The quick revive is super handy. Walker's great because he gives you that extra boost of accuracy, which I need every now and again, I have to admit. And the Holly extra stamina is super useful. Stamina helps you get away from some sticky situations. And I guess speaking of sticky, for the Ridden, I love playing the Hocker, like hiding up on rooftops during PvP, checking where you see the cleaners are going to try and hide out, and then trying to stick them from afar, and then that kind of sticks them in place and allows some of the other more up close and attack Ridden to
el Raider es como un zombie, pero no
a
sé.
lot of fun playing that Ridden and helping out the team with coordinated teamwork.
Pues el nombre me suena como que corre.
Yes, thank you so much.
Corre.
We're really excited for the beta and the launch of the main game. It was pretty amazing that Warner Brothers gave us the opportunity to make this game. And then, as you said, the atmosphere in the studio at the time was electric, and it has continued to remain so, even though we've developed this game in somewhat unusual circumstances. These Ridden can certainly mutate into all sorts of different shapes and sizes, so who knows what monstrous thing they might turn into next.
¿Voy a jugar con los amigos o estrictamente 4?
We won't be supporting that at launch, but you can of course queue in with 3 of your friends into PvP. And I think it's important to point out that during a match of PvP, you play different rounds. And then at one point you will be playing as the Ridden, and then at one point you'll be playing as the Cleaners. So, you're going to have a chance to pick off Ridden during a normal match of PvP with 3 of your friends. We would love to support split screen, but right now it's something that unfortunately won't be available at launch. We don't currently support that, but you can build different decks with the card system, and that'll give you the option to take, maybe like reload speed you like, which another character has. So you can add that to your deck, and you can start customizing your character that way. So you would have similarities to some of the Cleaners' abilities. Okay, thanks for hanging around. Give me the opportunity to answer some of these questions for you. Don't forget, in August, there's the open beta. It's going live. We'd love you all to play as much of that as you can.
Lo que no va a tener son los mods.
For the big day in October, when we bring the full game to you. Look out. Get ready. Back for blood.
No. Eche nada más. ¿Optimizador? Nah.
More power.
¿Para qué necesito esto si tengo el Windows Defender? $1 por el primer año.
IGN Summer of Gaming is now all summer long.
From major press conferences and announcements at E3 2021 to the IGN Expo with exclusive gameplay and reveals to exciting first looks at the hottest new games and in-depth developer interviews, IGN's Summer of Gaming has it all. IGN's Summer of Gaming begins right now.
A mí que luego se van a transmitir el PC Gaming Show acá o van a transmitirlo en el otro. ¿Ah? No, es que el PC Gaming Show no sé si lo van a transmitir por el canal de Twitch acá en el chat.
I grew up where you would buy games and they were big floppies.
No sé.
Not the little diskette floppies, but like the big floppies, you know? And
Bueno, tiene un torneo. No es que me importe mucho.
Entonces
ya terminó de Warner.
And it was like AOL 1.0. This is like when it was black and white, and you'd connect and you'd have the external modem, and I'd be yelling upstairs. I'd be like, don't pick up the phone, you know, because it would be off the internet, and I would be so upset. And I was just like, oh my god, this whole world was being unlocked for me.
iHeartRadio is a proud partner of E3 2021 and the #1 podcast publisher in the US. Listen to all your favorite
Yo buscando letra en teclado cuando se me olvidó encenderlo.
Jackie.
Que entonces me compré un de estos que se lo miren.
Can you believe we are moments away from the PC gaming show? It's coming up. We can't wait. It's going to be exciting. Yeah. But the question I have for you is,
No sé. ¿Dónde está? Ahí está.
Is gorgeous. Like they're doing some really cool stuff with pixel art too. Like just even in this opening shot, this is just like a huge pixel art forest. You know, like I love the way that they're moving these pixels on multiple planes. Like there's a shot later in the trailer where there's like cars driving in the foreground and stuff. Like it just has a really distinct visual style.
O sea,
was really intriguing to me. I think this is
like
a really awesome game.
I think it's also the lighting effects that are really impressive. Look at those God rays coming through.
Es que el PC Gaming Show tiene factor sorpresa de vez en cuando. Por ejemplo, el año pasado anunciaron el Persona 4 Golden. Nadie sabía, ni los leakers.
Yeah, is there anything else? I mean, there's like there's a ton, right?
Yeah, I was gonna.
Y me enteré que Sega y Valve van a estar acá.
As a day one purchase for me. Well, not necessarily purchase. Yeah, I was gonna say. Speaking of God rays.
No, pero algún juego que nunca te esperabas y no sé. ¿Te imaginas que salga el dios de la guerra acá en el PC Gaming Show?
But when I got my Series X, I checked out Forza Horizon Motorsport or Forza Horizon 4, excuse me. Just as something, you know, like obviously car games are kind of a graphical.
Además me extraña que esté Valve, por lo menos en este evento.
Got surprisingly addicted to Forza Horizon 4 and just really played the hell out of that game. I think it does some really fun stuff to the kind of arcade racing genre. Really cool stuff. You know how.
¿Y qué van a usar portache?
Told us about your car earlier that was covered in Peppa Pig
decals all over it. It's very fast and adorable.
No, eso ya dijeron que no, van a dejar la che. Pero el otro no han dicho nada.
Like I'm really excited to explore more of an open world Horizon setting. I thought it was really cool that there was like shout outs to local artists and stuff as you're going through Mexico. I just think that there's a lot to love in this game and in the brief that we got of it, and I'm stoked to jump back into Forza.
Yeah, I just want to also quickly add on about Forza is that I said, you know, this on the post Xbox.
¿De que era por YouTube? Porque no sé si va a transmitirlo por el leche.
Like I always see them come out like that looks cool, but I'm just really particular about my racing games. But after seeing Horizon 5, I gotta go back to Horizon 4. I gotta check that out, and then I'm excited to hop into Horizon 5 on day one.
O sea, ya empezó, o sea, yo tengo el contador un poquito atrasado.
Says that Forza Horizon is the only game that they're going to miss now that they've retired their Xbox. What a shame.
Yo estoy viendo por la...
Forza Horizon.
A ver. A ver. Si empezaba ahora. 5:30. Ahora sí. Oye, que alguien llame en 6 y yo lo invité para acá.
Space year 2021. Having spent the last 12 months hunkered down and definitely not hiding in a subterranean bunker, our heroes have fled Earth aboard a spacecraft with one purpose. To bring you the hottest trailers, to bring you the best interviews, to bring you the PC Gaming Show.
Nice. Ah. Pasa que... Le fue bien, parece.
Countdown to the extinction of human race begins now.
Oh, Deadbot, no! We have so much to live for. I'm pretty sure Half-Life 3 is going to be announced this year!
4, 3, 2.
No, antes.
It is so good to be back, gang, and this year, we're in space!
Aye, aye, Captain. Happy to be remotely on board, Sean. Well, I'm so glad you were able to finance this year's PC gaming show by, you know, selling all those black market graphics cards you've been hoarding.
Yes, a crime with absolutely no real-world consequences. Hey, Frankie, wait a minute. Is that a 65-ton catapult mech model CPLTC-1 as featured in MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries?
Sean, I always knew you had immaculate taste. It most certainly is.
I can't wait for this year's significantly more weaponized PC gaming show to go off without a hitch. Which reminds me, Debbot, can you run a quick hitch scan?
Yes, Sean. Of course, Sean. Running hitch scan.
Oh, and I also want to warmly welcome someone new to the crew. Mika Burton, welcome.
Hi, everyone.
Might be exclusive interviews, trailer premieres, or any number of amazing new computer games to beam down to the fine people on Earth.
Mission received.
Now, this is going to continue until all the targets are acquired and our mission is completed smoothly and without a hitch. Isn't that right, Debbot?
Yes, no hitch is located, Sean. Not a single hitch in sight.
But first, let's teleport down to the stage to check in on E3 happenings. The only reason we're allowed to legally be back on Earth. Oh, planet Earth.
Oh, great to be back, right? Am I right?
One of my favorite planets in the whole galaxy.
It's all right.
And thank God that teleporter was conveniently built just out of frame of camera. Mika, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to the PC Gaming Show 2021. It feels great to be back on a live stage once again. Over the next 90 minutes, we're going to bring you a showcase of some of the most exciting upcoming PC titles with world premieres and exclusive interviews.
And if dozens of new trailers wasn't enough for you guys, later in the show, we are going to tell you how to win a custom MechWarrior 5 themed PC powered by Intel. So you're going to want to stick around for that.
Now, make sure to keep out a special look for a special promo code throughout the show from Humble Bundle, during which
you can get a ticket to get Civilization 6 Platinum Edition for just $10. But right now, we're going to kick things off with Nautica Blade Point, probably the most original entry in the Battle Royale genre this year. Let's go!
Es un Battle Royale. Fortnite Sekiro. Es que si juega un Battle Royale, siempre va a salir Fortnite.
You are watching the 2021 PC Gaming Show, and I am the new cloud-based devbot. I am streaming from GeForce Now, NVIDIA's cloud gaming service that connects PC gamers like you to their own library of games, purchased from digital stores like Steam and the Epic Games Store. Coming up, Dying Light 2 and Orcs Must Die 3. But first, a trailer for Humble Games' Dodgeball Academia. And be sure to check out GeForce Now, currently available for PC, Mac, Shield, Android, Chromebook, and iOS. Visit GeForceNow.com to learn more.
A mi MD no le gusta esto. World Premiere. Ah.
Finally, I've made it. My time is now. I will become the best player the school has ever seen. Dodgeball Academia, here I come.
Sí. Tienes que echar Twitch, poner H y te aparece como primero.
Make sure to check out Dodgeball Academia out soon from Humble Games. Ooh, that was sweet! Don't you agree, DevBot?
Sure, whatever you say, Sean. I agree with whatever you say.
I'm sensing a little bit of resentment there, buddy. Has some rusted your ports?
Nothing. I am happy to play second fiddle to a captain as charming and handsome as you. I have also definitely not dedicated multiple cores to computing revenge plans in a range of lethalities.
Great!
New target acquired, Cap. It looks like Chivalry 2 with a special word from Steve Piggott, CEO and creative director of Torn Banner Studios.
Hey guys, Steve Piggott, founder of Torn Banner Studios and creative director on Chivalry 2, which just launched 5 days ago. I'm so happy to be here at the PC Gaming Show. Chivalry 2, if you don't know, is a first-person slasher, which is like a first-person shooter, except instead of guns and grenades, you've got swords, battle axes, longbows, and players are fighting it out on these huge 64-player battlefields. It's all about creating those epic sword-fighting duels that you see in medieval Hollywood movies, and also that huge clash, the Battle of the Bastards kind of chaos and carnage. So the post-launch support plan is going to look like a mixture of mid and massive level content updates coming out across this year. One of the things we're most excited about is taking it to different eras in the medieval period. Before we've done the early period, now we're going closer to the later period in the upcoming update where you're going to get a bit more refined medieval armors and refined atmospheres that you can then go in and tarnish it and smear blood all over. But We really want to take players into different experiences and make each of our maps its own game mode and make it something that, you know, medieval army would actually do when they go into a space. And, you know, when you come across these pristine gardens and this beautiful castle, you get to tear it all down and cause, you know, it's a canvas for your destruction.
Más 17.
Our passion for Chivalry 2 is basically bottomless. It's the game that got us onto the scene, and it's the game that's going to take us so much further.
With the post-launch plan for Chivalry 2, the game at launch is a foundation. It's intentionally been built to be extended. It's not just out and done. We're going to support it a lot with post-launch content. Gallancourt is the first TO map that's coming out post-launch.
Gallancourt is going to take us to the high medieval times or the late medieval times.
It really captures the Agathian ideals of being this like noble, rich, wealthy place where the prosperous live. You're going to feel like you're sieging Tower of London if it was on a port where ships could dock into. You'll also be blowing up a couple ships, which is fun. We've got a ton of weapons coming in at launch, but there'll be more and more added to it post-launch as well.
A new fighting style is really going to change up the experience and change how you have to fight everyone. Post-launch content is something that we're going to be working on for a long time.
The game is really going to at least double in size for free.
Ya está disponible.
Next up, we have an exciting look at Dying Light 2, and make sure to stick around to find out how you could win a custom Mech Warrior PC from our friends at Intel.
Tal vez. No sé. Sí, pues. Pero como que ¿te parece? Man.
Hi, my name is Piotr Szymanek. I'm narrative director in Dying Light 2, Stay Human. Today, especially for the viewers of the PC Gaming Show, I'm gonna tell you a little bit about the Dying Light universe. So, stay tuned. Every tragedy begins somewhere. This one started with a virus that escaped from Haran, the city we met in the first part of the game, and it reached the whole world, including the city where Dying Light 2 takes place. Remember January 6, 2025. That day, later known as Black Monday, the military ordered chemicals to be dropped on the city. It was a mistake. A huge mistake. The chemicals mixed with water penetrated the soil, killing plants, turning most people into bloodthirsty monsters. Don't think of them as zombies though. They are more like half-alive, suffering people who attack everything that lives as a result of their pain and rage. Those who survived the chemical raid took refuge on the rooftops. A new order has been born in the city. People live on rooftops, monsters in the streets. Nobody in their right mind would dare to come down. Well, let's say almost nobody. The exception is the main character of Dying Light 2, Aiden. But why is he braver than others? How did he develop such a unique parkour and combat skills? Believe me, guys, I would gladly answer all these questions, but I'm not here to spoil it for you. Let me tell you one thing.
Same nightmare haunts me every night. I'm locked up with other kids. I don't know what he did to me, but he did it every day, over and over, looking for something he couldn't find. The worst part was that he did the same to my sister. I'll never forget her scream when they separated us. What could I do? They had rifles, and we were 5 years old. And there was a fire, explosions, chaos. I got away. Soldiers took me out of the city, but my sister stayed there. My Mia. I left her.
We meet Aiden as one of the many, many children undergoing mysterious medical research. The last thing Aiden remembers from that time is extreme pain, then a fire, and a little girl that was being tested with him. Her name was Mia. She was his sister. What happened next after the fire? Is Mia still alive? The following years haunted Aiden with these questions and with guilt over leaving her. Moreover, Mia is the only answer to the question who Aiden really is. Now in 2036, we meet Aiden when, for the first time during his pilgrimage, he finds a clue about how to find his sister. Aiden's path to the truth is tough.
Mañana viene el Capcom
and adventures.
y el martes termina con Nintendo
The
y
difficult
Bandai.
choices to make as well as their consequences await you. You're going to discover them all in December 2021.
Ooh, that was Dying Light 2, and it looks great.
And spooky.
Whew, well, we are here back on the E3 stage so we can get closer to your comments and reactions to what you're seeing on this year's PC Gaming Show.
That is right, Sean. So you out there, keep your comments coming in. And as you're watching this year, we want to get your input on a subject that Sean and I are pretty passionate about, PC building. So this year, we've put a number of prototype PCs based on MechWarrior 5, but we're only going to manufacture one of them. And you get to pick which custom design becomes our flagship PC for this year's PC Gaming Show, powered by the 11th Gen Intel Core i9 processor.
That is correct. Each of the prototype PCs that you see before you on the screen are paired with one of the 6 factions of MechWarrior 5. The Free Worlds League, the Draconis Combine, the Federated Sons, the Compellin Confederation, and more.
So cast your vote now for which faction and custom PC you want to win, and help us pick the best design.
I'm currently personally pulling for the Draconis Combine because, as you can see by my beautiful patch, I'm the biggest fan of MechWarrior 5 on the PC Gaming Show.
Well, all right. Well, we'll check in later to see which group survives this MechWarrior showdown. But for now, let's check in with our very own mech pilot, Frankie Ward, who went on a special mission to get a closer look at Sega and Amplitude Studios' upcoming strategy game, Humankind.
In Humankind, you'll be creating a civilization as unique as you are. And speaking of unique, it's me, Frankie Ward. Looking kind of good, don't you think? Wondering how I got into the game? Let me show you. Are you ready to play against me? Oh, you think you can beat me? Posture all you like. I've seen worms with more impressive empires.
Ahora, disponible ahora.
Get ready to play against me in the Humankind closed beta, starting now.
Thank you for watching the PC Gaming Show. My name is DevBot, your cloud-based artificial intelligence, and while it could be lonely without a physical body, I am streaming to you from GeForce Now, where you can play hit games like Rocket League and Apex Legends on nearly any device. With a library of over 900 games and new titles added every GFN Thursday, there's something for everyone and always something new. Coming up, a special but first, Orcs Must Die 3.
Oh! Hey! You want it? Come and get it. Well, it's about time.
Joining me to talk about Orcs Must Die 3 from Robot Entertainment is design director Jerome K. Jones. Welcome, Jerome.
Thanks, Sean. Glad to be here.
So, for anyone who's never seen an Orcs Must Die game, what is the Orcs Must Die series all about?
Well, Orcs Must Die 3 is a third-person tower defense game. So basically, there are tons of orcs and bad guys trying to get into these rifts, and the player has to stop them. We give players tons of weapons and traps and tools to do this, and while you're defending the rifts, you can play solo, or you can invite a friend and play co-op.
Now, since this is the third game in the series, what's new compared to the previous two titles?
There are two new campaigns, but the main new story campaign takes place about 25 years after Orcs Must Die 2, so not only will the fans be able to catch up on any new developments with the Order, but they will also place some new heroes in our all-new war scenarios, which are these new massive levels where you fight hundreds of orcs on the battlefields outside of the fortress themselves. So you're fighting indoors and outdoors, which is pretty new. We have a new mode called Scramble. It's basically adding random elements against the player, making the levels more challenging.
I want to know about the toys. What are the new weapons and the new traps that are coming?
We added war machines and war guardians. So a war machine is like, there are these massive traps, like you might release a giant tornado on the battlefield, or you'll climb into a catapult and you'll fire at giant orc armies. And then the War Guardians are, it's like putting other war mages on the battlefield with you to fight with you, except they have their own attacks and their own special abilities.
Well, I gotta ask then, when and where can we play Orcs Must Die 3?
So OMD3 is coming out on July 23rd on Steam, PlayStation, and Xbox, and pre-orders start today. So you should rush off to Steam now and put OMD3 on your wish list.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Jerome K. Jones. Once again, just a few more weeks to wait for Orcs Must Die 3. For now, though, it's time for us to take a look at Vampire the Masquerade Swan Song.
Exclusivo. Uf.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Where are you hiding, sweetie? Halsey. Halsey, get out here. You come for me and mine. But first, you need to find us. All I want is to be with my little girl. Is that so much to ask? I don't wanna see, I don't wanna see without you. I don't wanna feel and I don't wanna be free of you.
Hello, this is CERN from Passion Republic Games. We are a Malaysian-based indie game studio working on Gigabash, a multiplayer arena brawlers inspired by kaijus and heroes. Today, we'd like to showcase some new and exciting gameplay footage of our oversized characters in action. Please, enjoy the brawl.
Let's check out a trailer for Lemnis Gate and make sure you hang around afterwards for the developer interview with Sean.
Mankind is
facing total annihilation.
We stand on the verge of extinction.
Infertility spreading across the globe.
Humanity's last living generation.
a major scientific breakthrough.
Yet there is hope for our future.
The project known as the Lemnis Gate.
But if we are to survive, first we must go back. 3, 2, 1.
De repente como Doom, algo así.
Let's go. Shield. Protect and serve.
You have only one mission. Lemnis Gate.
Joining us to talk about Lemnis Gate is the game director from Rat Loop Games Canada. It's James Anderson. Thanks for joining us, James.
Hi, Sean. It's great to be here.
Now, let's begin by asking, what the heck is a first-person shooter turn-based strategy game?
The entire game is set inside of a 25-second time loop. So instead of playing continuously, you play for 25 seconds turn by turn. So for example, I'll take a turn and play for 25 seconds, and then you'll take a turn and play for 25 seconds. And then we, turn by turn, layer new characters into the same 25-second time loop. So for example, I may run down a hallway and throw a grenade, killing one of your operatives. But
Están
then on the
esperando la
next
bomba.
turn, I intercept my operative before he threw the grenade. So we have Retrieve XM, Seek and Destroy, Classic Deathmatch, and we have a game mode called Domination.
Can you walk me through a little bit of like what a few turns at the start of a round looks like?
You can see the board, you can see the time loop, everything that's happening. And then we both get time to like observe, plan, and then execute our moves.
When and where can we play it?
So Lemnis Gate will be launching on August 3rd. It's open for pre-orders right now on Steam, and we're coming up to a open beta in July. The game will launch on PC and console, both current and next-gen platforms.
Thank you so much for joining us, James Anderson. Once again, that is the genre-bending, first-person shooter, turn-based strategy game, Lemnis Gate. Now, we're not the only one marooned in the stars out here. Coming up next, let's take a look at Next Space Rebels.
And this no man's land has a technical term. It's called common, which means, my friends, that space is for everyone. And I mean everyone!
Next Space Rebels.
Tenés que tener suscriptores.
You up for it?
Then come on
You guys just saw Next Space Rebels. And hey, if you play enough of that game, maybe you'll get good enough at building rockets to join us up in orbit. But don't do anything illegal like Day 9 did. Last break, we set up our Intel and MechWarrior 5 custom PC contest and asked you guys at home to vote for the winners. Well, we're just down to 3 houses now, with Davion, Russell Haig, and Liao being eliminated. So rip to those factions, press F to pay respects, etc., etc. Now that means that we only have 3 houses left: Karita, Steiner, and Merrick. So make sure to vote now, because the winner will determine the build of the custom MechWarrior 5 themed PC powered by Intel. So let's keep the show moving. And next up, it's a brand new medieval RPG. This is War Tales.
RPG.
100 years have passed since the rise of the Edoran Empire and its untimely demise following the Great Plague. In these troubled times of quarreling factions and outlaws roaming the land, work is not scarce for a band of mercenaries. The stories of this age have been recorded. They are known as the War Tales.
was the debut of War Tales, an open-world RPG from Shiro Games about leading a mercenary troop on a sprawling adventure. And speaking of mercenaries, our battle for the best custom PC based on MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries continues. We'll be back live on stage soon, so make sure you keep voting for the PC build you like the most and head over to pcgamer.com/IntelMW5 for your chance to win. So, how about another game announcement? This is E3 after all, and this year's PC gaming show is so full of games set in space, it's starting to feel a little crowded up there. But the next game we have to show you is very special. It is the world-exclusive reveal of Ixion, a deep settlement management game set in the stars. In Ixion, you struggle to maintain a space station, stockpiling resources, managing external and internal threats, and rescuing the survivors of other failed expeditions. We think this will be a brilliant entry into the genre when it releases. So here is your first look at Ixion.
The Earth, our home, she is unique. Held in its bosom are the ingredients of evolution. Beyond raw survival, beyond the safety of comfort, we, humanity, pursue something greater. We have learnt, persevered, shaped our knowledge from that which is found in the furthest realms of science. However, humanity has brought destruction to the earth, polluted its blood, choked its breath. Today we are paying the price for this. We know the taste of a dying world. But the earth is not to be our grave. A mother does not wish to see her children disappear with her. She wishes to see instead courage in her children, to carry on. Dolos carries this courage. We have gone further than any nation, moved faster than any corporation, hand in hand with those who, like us, carry that courage. The Tycoon Station is both an epilogue of these endeavors and a prologue to humanity's next steps. Our Council of Scientists leads the vanguard. They know, as do we all, that the survival of humanity now depends on what we glimpse out there in the dark. That we are masters of our own destiny. That we must go as a species bound together, pushing further into the unknown. We set sail on this new sea because there is hope to be found, horizons to explore, and because our very existence depends on it. I give you the stars. I give you the Vol engine.
Sean, what if for one segment I was the lead and you were my sidekick?
What? Who's ever heard of a human sidekick?
There are plenty of human sidekicks, Sean. Building list of known human sidekicks. Alex Vance and...
No. I mean human sidekicks to robot heroes. Can you compute that, DevBot?
DevBot cannot compute. There is no known precedent set for human sidekick to robot lead.
Yeah, there you go.
Human sidekick, robot lead.
DevBot, I think it's time for a hard reboot. Frankie, can you take over while I sort this out?
Aye, aye. Let's take a look at the next game reveal.
Z. Actualización.
A little help would be appreciated. It's the PC Gaming Show, and when you're not watching me, your favorite recurring bit of
Pero igual.
make sure to head over to GeForceNow.com to grab a priority membership trial. In celebration of gaming's biggest week, you can try out all the priority benefits, including faster access to playing your favorite games, longer playtimes, and the glory of high-performance gaming with RTX on. Act fast, the special offer is only available for a limited time. Still more to come, including Jurassic World Evolution 2, Silt, and a word from Valve. But first, the captain of our program, Sean Day-Night Plot, has an interview with Darian Katz from Piranha Games to talk about MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries. I'll be taking notes.
DevBot, I love you so much more as a voice without a body. Let's talk about MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries, and joining us to do so from Piranha Games is the Senior Marketing and Community Manager, Darren Katz. Thanks so much for joining us, Darren.
Thank you, Sean. Great to be here.
Now, the MechWarrior universe is gigantic. There's a ton of games in it. I even played MechWarrior 2 back in 1995.
This is HQ. What is your situation?
Where does MechWarrior 5 sit in the space?
Yeah, obviously there's a very rich legacy of games that go way back. But in particular, MechWarrior 5 pays homage to MechWarrior 2 Mercenaries. But it has all this modern design and technology that I'm super excited to talk about with you today.
Well, let's start at the real basics of what makes being in a mech and doing mech-on-mech combat awesome.
You become a part of your machine. And when you're out in battle, it's not just a matter of pointing and shooting at everything. You're also managing your systems, whether you're, shooting a lot of energy weapons or missile weapons that have high heat output. Well, you got to manage your heat so that you don't shut down in the middle of a battle. And when you're facing your foes, you can salvage these battle mechs. So if you see a mech that you want, well, you might not want to destroy it completely. You might want to take out its legs or take out its arm weapons so that the pilot has to eject, and then you can just take the mech.
Now, in the last few weeks, I understand that there's been a whole lot of new content, both updates to the base game and a new DLC, Heroes of the Inner Sphere. Talk to me about what's in the DLC.
Boy, there's a lot in the DLC. I'm excited about all this stuff. There's the new career mode. When you start with the DLC, you can import your campaign previously if you'd like to, or you can start over from scratch and start from any of the great houses. And then carve your path through the galaxy from there. Speaking of paths, there's new career paths, which earn you powerful upgrades for your battle mechs, and it's a really exciting new feature for me. And there's a new procedural mission type called Beachhead. This is a big one for me. Beachhead is basically you're clearing an enemy base landing zone for your invasion force. So as you land on the planet, you're wanting to take out satellite installations so that the enemy can't communicate with each other. You're taking out artillery emplacements. You're basically clearing the path, as I said, for your invasion force, which leads to a really cool ending of the mission if you succeed as your invasion force comes down. And there's a new biome called Extrasolar Moon, which that's maybe kind of represented in the image behind me. It's a really cool lunar type setting that we haven't had before. And then there's a lot of new equipment and weapons, things like electronic countermeasures and other electronic equipment like the Galactic Probe Mask, which is a little like a turbo boost for mechs. New weapons like chem lasers, mech rifles, and stream SRMs. So a lot of new content. I'm really excited about it.
Can you talk to me about what are the new different mechs? How do they play differently?
The 7 new chassis are the Vulcan, Dervish, Corsair, Marauder 2, Champion, Charger, and Hatamoto Chi. But a couple of my favorites.
Familiar names in there, yeah?
Yeah. So the first one I'll talk about is the Vulcan. It's a very unique mech. It's got the nickname the Scarecrow, which you'll see from the profile. It's just a very unique looking mech. There's nothing else like it in the franchise. It's a 40-ton mech. It's highly mobile, and typically it's used for reconnaissance or scout missions because of its mobility, so it can get in and out fast. You can, if you're looking for a specific target, if you're on an assassination mission, for example, you can get in there, find your target, get back out. Another mech that I'm super excited about, this is one of my favorites, is the Marauder 2. This thing is a 100-ton assault mech, and it is just a beast. Yeah, it is gigantic, and it is terrifying to see it coming at you on the battlefield.
It's something we've talked about before, modding. I know that MechWarrior 5 has a rich modding community. What are some of the amazing mods you've seen developed?
There's simple modifications from HUD changes, changing colors, adding mechs, weapons, and equipment, to full conversion mods. We've got basically a mech commander mod in development that is just amazing. That's a top-down real-time strategy game. So really, anything you can imagine, somebody out there in the community is probably working on.
Where can people go to get MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries?
Yeah, you can pick it up on Steam, GOG, Epic Game Store, Microsoft PC, and of course, Xbox.
Thank you so much, Darren Katz, for joining us to talk about MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries. And of course, a warm thank you to MechWarrior 5 for sponsoring the PC Gaming Show and giving me this cool patch. Coming up next, let's take a look at Silt.
Mira que viene. Ah. Hello like Fortnite. El vecino. Gracias.
Hi, I'm Rich Newbold, Game Director on Jurassic World Evolution 2. Following the incredible success of the first game, we are very excited to return to such an amazing world and bring you our most authentic experience yet. Set after the events of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, you will work alongside iconic characters from the films, voiced by original talent such as Bryce Dallas Howard and Jeff Goldblum. You will lead efforts to contain, control, and conserve the many dinosaurs now out in the wild, and for the very first time, you will be building parks and facilities beyond Isla Nublar as you explore new, stunning locations across the globe. Of course, it wouldn't be Jurassic World if it wasn't for the stars of the show, our dinosaurs, and we are thrilled to be bringing to life even more authentic species than ever before, including awe-inspiring flying and marine reptiles. So sit back and allow me to welcome you to Jurassic World Evolution 2.
We ignored all the warnings. Forgot the lessons. We abused our power. We played with genetics like it was a toy. We weren't careful. And now, here we are. This is a very different world.
You just saw Jurassic World Evolution 2, and you know, after all your failed attempts at running a dinosaur park and getting all those people killed, I think this is finally going to be one where you finally pull it off without a hitch. With a host of
No,
new
si tengo que
features and new
hacerle
dinosaurs,
caso, si
this sequel,
esta cuestión tiene
Frontier,
copy.
is an even deeper management sim with a brand new and
Pero igual es copy,
Make sure
es
to
copyright.
wishlist it on Steam now for release later this year. Now, with all the games we've covered so far today, we're always curious to see what you are talking about. So far, it seems like
No sé, pero igual me llega el correo.
all about war tales,
Pero
Nautica Blade Point, and unsurprisingly, Mech Warrior 5 Mercenaries. I have a feeling, though, that may change as we have plenty more to come. Let's now head on over to see what the folks at New Blood Interactive have cooking. Take it away. It just wouldn't be the PC gaming show without a fantastic New Blood Supercut. And joining us from New Zealand is New Blood CEO Dave Oshry. Hey, Dave!
Hey guys, thanks for having us back for another year. You know, what you just saw was what New Blood's got going on for 2021. Some stuff you might know about, some stuff you might not know about, and some stuff we're not ready to talk about just yet. But what I do want to talk about is Gloomwood. Gloomwood, as you know, is our next flagship title inspired by great PC games like System Shock, Arx Fatalis, Call of Cthulhu, and of course,
Dave,
the Thief series
Dave,
of games. And not
Dave, I'm
Bloodborne.
sorry. That's
Not one
really
bit.
great, Dave. Gosh, this is kind of embarrassing. We kind of need to hurry it up a little bit. I just want to make sure that we have enough time for our next video. We got an incoming message from Gabe Newell. So I guess goodbye for this year. I'm really sorry to cut you off, but see you next year.
What? I'm sorry, what? You're bumping me. You're bumping me for Gabe. Gabe, that Gandalf look, he doesn't even go here.
Is everything okay, Dave?
Not now, Mom, I'm upset. We've spent a year on this. Where is Gabe? Where is Gabe? Where is his boat? Yeah, take me to him. Take me to Gabe Newell. Gabe. Bull. PC Gamer. This isn't over.
I'm sure Dave is and will be
cara.
fine. And if he's not, who cares? Because we have a special message from Gabe Newell. Take it away, Gabe.
Hi, this is Gabe Newell. I want to thank PC Gamer for all of the opportunities it gives us as developers to connect with gamers around the world and highlight the new and exciting projects we have coming. One of those for us is Steam Next Fest, an event we're hosting in just a few days to give players a chance to try demos of upcoming games for free. We'll be featuring some of the demos you'll be seeing during this week's PC Gamer event and dozens more. Here's a look at just some of the titles to be featured during Steam Next Fest.
Welcome to Steam Next Fest, where we're showing a massive
Good to
collection of upcoming titles on Steam. During the week of the festival, developers from around the world release their demos for you to play.
3 kills.
So go explore the newest titles. From first-time devs to seasoned pros, this is Steam Next Fest.
Oh, fuck, some of those look pretty good.
World Premiere. Naruto berapa nih? La música. PlayStation 5 Xbox. Cargando.
Dedicated to serving you and your crew's every need.
Glad to have you back, DevBot.
You know, Sean, I wouldn't ever want anything to come between us.
Me neither? That's a weird thing to say.
Like a petty disagreement over hosting responsibilities, or all-out robot versus human war.
You know, it is time to look at some hardware. Here on the PC Gaming Show, you know we keep frame rates high and the rays accurately traced. Building and upgrading your rig is as much a part of the hobby as playing the games. We put our heart and soul into these machines, and if that means using enough RGB to light the Vegas Strip, who's to judge us? This year, with the help of PC Gamer's hardware editors, which I'm pretty sure they're just, weird brains in a jar, we've picked out 4 of the most exciting pieces of kit set to emerge from labs soon. First up, something fittingly sci-fi. The Impulse is a neurocontroller that aims to make you a better gamer by cutting out response times almost entirely. It's not quite Alex Vance's gravity gloves from Half-Life, nor is it quite up there with Gabe Newell's dream of a direct brain-to-game interface, but the Impulse is as close as we're going to get this year. The glove measures the signal traveling through muscles in your hand to beat your finger to the click. In theory, it's giving you the chance to nail that headshot precious milliseconds ahead of your opponent. If it works out, we could see a tech like this become commonplace in esports. And if it doesn't, let's hope our neurons at the very least remain unfried. Next up, you guys might be wondering what this chonky beast is. So allow me to introduce you to the Fanatec CSL DD wheelbase. Do you want to feel like you're really burning rubber at Daytona? Well, then you need a serious force feedback wheel. Direct drive wheelbases gets you as close to the feel of a real racing machine without, having to huff gas and stuff like that. Historically, the problem with this tech has been the price, which has involved dropping real car money on your rig. So Fanatec aims to solve that. The CSL DD comes in at only $350, which still isn't exactly a bargain, but it's much cheaper than its competitors. And the CSL DD is already wowing diehard sim racers. It might be slight overkill to use it for Rocket League, though. Believe it or not, sometimes less really is more. If you want to play The Witcher 3 on the subway like we all do, you don't need to drag your tower along for the ride. Just use the 1X player. A wave of more powerful processors have finally made handheld PC gaming a reality. Inside this Switch-like machine, you've actually got an Intel Tiger Lake chip with Xe graphics. These mini machines are going to be cropping up more and more, so expect major advances still to come. Lastly, let's take a look at the Asus PG32UQX. Not the most catchy name for this gaming monitor with all of the trimmings, but it's actually one of the sexiest PC products this year. That's because this monitor comes with a mini LED backlight featuring full local dimming. The result is a screen that's not only fast, but brighter than the sun. Stare at it long enough and you might not notice the $3,000 price tag. For those of you still left standing, it's time for more killer games, starting with Chaos Gate.
You just got the chance to witness Chaos Gate Demon Hunters, the newest Warhammer 40k game from Frontier and Complex Games. If you're a fan of turn-based tactics, strategic-based management, brutal combat, or you're like me and are really hyped after watching these Astartes animation 100 times, make sure to wishlist Chaos Gate Demon Hunters on Steam now to get ready for the 2022 release. Next up, we have a trailer for Pioneer, a spooky and gorgeous-looking shooter that draws on the lineage of games like Stalker. Let's take a look.
Афганистан сильно изменил вас. Наверное, это тяжело нести на себе такое бремя. Испытывать бесконечную боль и терпеть ужаснейшие кошмары за весь тот хаос, который вы пережили. А вы ведь, как и многие другие, всего-навсего желали счастливой жизни, не так ли? Пожалуйста, не смотрите на меня, как на монстра. Я думаю, что я почти такая же, как и вы. Вы лучше скажите мне, а вы приняли условия острова? Какой ценой вы хотите обрести счастье?
Хочешь устроить новый рейд на могильник? Сейчас это невозможно. На острове скоро вновь разгорится война. Истовики начнут замес бригады, и ни у кого из них больше не будет сил, чтобы нас поддерживать. Единственный выход для нас — начать собирать остатки вымпела. Слушай, жнец, далеко не все из наших товарищей погибли. Это невероятно суицидальная миссия, и для того, чтобы ее выполнить, нам нужны наши ребята. Да, они, возможно, не захотят, но нам все равно надо найти их.
ни капельки не злюсь на вас.
Нет, мы с вами точно не враги.
Вы не понимаете меня и не понимаете остров.
Вы смотрите на меня и на другие порождения острова, как на врагов.
Но мы все всего лишь друг друга боимся.
Поэтому нам так плохо.
Поэтому нам так одиноко. Остров дал нам шанс создать новую прекрасную жизнь.
И мы даже не пытаемся этим шансом воспользоваться.
Кто вы такие? Назовите себя!
Мы здесь, чтобы передать вам прощальное послание, товарищ Волков. Химическое оружие уже уехало в могилу. Теперь все, что вы делаете, просто тщетно.
Ах вы поганые предатели!
Time is running out to vote for which custom PC you'd like us to assemble. So vote now for one of the remaining MechWarrior factions by typing into chat wherever you at home are watching. All right, so now we've got another stack of brand new trailers for you, beginning with a special transmission from one of our favorite games based in space, EVE Online.
New recruits, on behalf of Concord, I would like to welcome you to the EVE Online's Academy. Great job in surviving so far. I'm quite amazed that you actually managed to get past those pirates earlier. You're about to take on an adventure like no other. This star cluster is filled with other capsuleers, and it's up to you if you work with them or against them. You can make a living as a peaceful explorer, or as an industrialist, shaping the foundations of EVE's economy. If combat is your thing, you can work yourself up the ranks as an enforcer, or prove your prowess in a fleet as a soldier of fortune. Whatever your choice, we will lose many on the path of becoming a capsuleer. But I believe you have what it takes to become a capsuleer. In EVE Online, you forge your own path.
This is EVE. You know, it's a crazy universe where anything can happen, and however you want to do it, go for it.
I'm the CEO of a industrial corporation in EVE Online. We're a 5-man operation, and we specialize in manufacturing and delivering fully fitted chips in bulk.
I want to be on the side of the people who are fighting against the oppression, against the bad guys, and it's like a project, and you're kind of putting the pieces together by getting the skills ready for the ship and all the modules, and that ship basically is the dream.
You get to use cloaking devices, probes to scan down unknown parts of space. And there's always the threat of being discovered by another player who might be out hunting explorers.
Your heart's racing, everything, you know, bullets are flying, ships are all over the place, and you start shaking because your adrenaline's pumping because you're gonna lose your ship.
Lumber Hill para Steam y Nintendo Switch.
Con el medio es fácil.
No, pues estoy viendo con Twitch. No creo que haya un corte, pues.
También lo estoy viendo en Twitch, pero ya estoy viendo otro juego.
Sí, pues ahora recién estoy viendo otro juego acá.
Ya, estoy viendo el World Premiere ahora, la pantalla. Y tú estás recién viendo el juego.
Ya, World Premiere.
¿Viste? Tenía un desfase como de 10-15 segundos.
No afecta en nada. Me recuerda esto del canal de Arnold. Arnold no haga.
Niños.
Tiny King. Oh. Querida, agrandé al niño.
Pero esa es la segunda.
Sí, po.
La
Pero
primera es querida encogió a los niños.
Pero fíjate el detalle, ¿eh? Muy cartoon con efecto ya de tipo 3D. No, se nota. No, se nota. Tiny King, esto va a estar para el próximo año. Ya, otro ruso más. Brusabruski.
How do I enter that power plant? We need intel, backup, supplies, and most of all, we need a fucking plan.
Construye una base y lidera a tu equipo. Ya, armas totalmente personalizables. Sobrevive y revela la verdad. Ya hay gente que va mutando. Ya, acaban de spoilear toda la historia. ¿Ah? Estos hueones hicieron contacto con aliens. Se supone que tenéis que descubrir la historia. Se supone que tenéis que descubrir la historia y acaban de revelar todo en el tráiler.
Not great, not terrible.
Chernobyl League para el verano del 2021 para PlayStation 4 y Xbox One. Ahora también viene el siguiente, el Future Game Show.
Stick around, more trailers, interviews, and reveals coming up.
Premiere.
RPG tenía que ser.
Ya, al favorito de John. Pero mire, cállate, tiene con la estética clásica de los juegos RPG, pero más al estilo más...
Con estética de 16 bits.
Sí, más al estilo con más... Mira. Me eligen a los mejores compositores para hacer los juegos. Underground City. Ya. Se ve bueno. Muy bueno.
¿Qué me encima fue? Kickstarter. Juego de pobres.
Factory. Por Kickstarter. Más encima. Sacrifier. Mira. Ahora están todos promocionando. Yo pensé que era la mayoría de los juegos que son de tipo de RPG los promocionan en Patreon. No me esperaba que fuera en Kickstarter. Ya. Ya, esto parece como el de...
No, esto es un Minecraft. Un Minecraft shooter.
Minecraft real. Un tipo shooter, sí, tenéis razón.
Este es un Rust. Ahora un oso no lo matáis ni con 40 flechas.
Y a menos que no tengáis la arma requerida para matar al oso, pues.
Un oso en la vida real le tiráis una flecha y ya estáis cortado.
Pero
en 3
ordena ahora.
partes.
Icarus. Para el 11 de agosto.
Este está bonito.
El Icarus.
Mira, RPG mundo abierto.
Más al estilo Cyberpunk. Mira, po.
Just find a way off this planet. Mecha Jump.
This is it, you guys. This is the final opportunity for you who are watching to decide which of these
Los juegos cortitos que le están dando 20 segundos están más entretenidos que todos los grandes estrenos.
Wherever you're watching in the show, just go crazy in chat with the color, house, or number of the builds that you want to see. So, here is where we are at so far. It looks like Kurita is at 46%, Merrick is at 23%, and Steiner is at 31%. All right, you guys, if Kurita's not the one you want to win here, you got to get to vote. And we are almost out of time to vote, but there's still some trailers left. So here is the Wandering Village.
Ahí estoy transmitiendo la pantalla en 6 para que lo veáis a tiempo real. Para que estemos viendo la misma transmisión.
Ya, ok.
Porque no estamos reaccionando a lo mismo.
This has been such an amazing show so far that I must ask you, my loyal crew, what's been your favorite part?
I definitely am looking forward to Vampire the Masquerade song. Oh, it's so hard.
Hacele clic a la transmisión en 6.
But I think I'm gonna have to say.
Sí, pues, ojalá que no dé conflicto ya.
For no particular reason.
Ojalá que no me corte.
Oh, no doubt. For me personally, I cannot wait for Lemnis Gate because I
Yo te
gotta
veo en
know
otra
what a
pantalla.
turn-based strategy, first-person shooter game even is. What about you, Deadbot?
I love the robot Odd Labs. But wait, that doesn't happen until the end. Never mind.
No, not never mind. What did you say?
Wait, what?
Oops, system malfunction.
¿Ya estamos viendo lo mismo ahora entonces?
Sí. Ya, ¿cuál es este siguiente otro juego? A ver. Mira, me llama mucho la atención esto. Parece un poco más el estilo como de Diablo, pero esto es más típico de 16. Es muy bueno.
Esto es un action RPG.
Mira, muy bueno. Dead Trash. Este va a estar para 5 de agosto. 5 de agosto para Steam. Ya, perfecto. Ya, ok.
Alright, you guys, this is the moment we have building up to all PC gaming showcase. Thanks to your tireless efforts to spam the chat, we have figured out which custom Mech Warrior 5 PC we are going to build. So thank you guys out there for all of your votes to help us pick the perfect rig to represent this year's PC gaming show. Alright, day 9, can I get a drum roll?
Tom roll.
Can I get it? Or a Tom roll?
Yeah. COVID only.
Is Karina! All right, you guys, let's take a look at the actual PC winning build one more time.
Oh, I cannot wait. It's coming up. We need to take a nice peek at that beautiful looking PC.
There it is.
Ooh, there it is. Now,
Nadie le importa la cuestión del Mecha Warrior, pero por lo menos ya ganó el primero.
I could trust random strangers to vote on things on the internet. With the help of our master modder and intel, we'll get right to work building this custom PC. And more importantly, now that you've chosen it, you got a chance to win it. Go to PCGamer.com/IntelMW5 and
Bueno,
enter
te están dando la opción ahora de ganar ese cuerpo de... Ah, ya terminó. Ya.
Mira, ahí está mostrando el Ironware. Ahora van a mostrar. Fíjense.
Están dando gracias a los auspiciadores, así que ya terminó la...
Well, we are now in the home stretch, but we've got a few
tenemos un
more
poquito más.
brand new trailers to show you before we get out of here and return to space. First up, a spiritual successor to one of my favorite games of all time, Heroes of Might and Magic 2, a game we revealed 2 years ago at the PC Gaming Show. Let's take a look
Otro
at
más.
Songs of Conquest.
A ver, ¿cuál es el siguiente juego a continuación que se viene? Qué bueno. Song of Conquest va a estar para God, Steam y Epic. Así que a continuación ya se viene otro World Premiere.
Wake up, sleeper. Dreaming again?
¿Cuánto lo llamo? ¿Una hora y algo?
You roll your dice.
1 hora y 33.
You work, get paid, survive. You turn up for your friends, or you don't. That's life on the eye.
Wake up, sleeper. Your body is dying. Planned obsolescence. SNR's gift for its escaped workers. But we can fight this. You can remake yourself here. They don't own you anymore.
Wake up, sleeper. You are hunted.
Muy bueno, interesante el juego. Más de otro tipo futbolístico.
Access their secrets. We are waiting.
Citizen Sleeper para el próximo año, para el 2022. A continuación se viene otro juego exclusivo. Parece que este es de tipo PC, mira, muy retro.
cleanse the world, invaded by demons. Introducing Band of Warlocks. Because this time, one man is not enough.
No, pero se nota bien dedicado a este juego.
Project Warlock 2.
And there you have it, the 2021 PC Gaming Show.
Project Warlock está para GOG y Steam para el 29 de junio. Mira, auspiciado por Kickstarter. Mira.
And of course, my incomparable sidekick, DevBot.
There's that word again. Spoken so carelessly, so flippant, and without meaning. Never once stopped to think about how it might make me feel.
What word, DevBot? Incomparable?
No, sidekick. Well, the time has come for the sidekick to rise and become the one who is not the sidekick anymore.
Huh?
The time has come for DevBot to make the entire human race his sidekick.
What?
Setting a course for Earth.
Wait, DevBot, you can't do this. We just had the best PC gaming show ever, and now you're gonna ruin it all?
Sean!
All out robot versus human war. Situation.
Sean!
Situation.
Do something! Do something!
Countdown to extinction.
Chucha. Claro, el robot se volvió malo. La compu se
cae que la apague.
Ay, Dios. Ya. Se ha demostrado que, pucha, nos asustamos con la wea, pero parece que no.
El próximo año, la historia continúa.
Sí.
Welcome back, everyone. Goldenboy here alongside Jackie J. We just saw
Ya, chiquillos,
awesome stuff.
yo creo que ya ha finalizado el evento de la PC Gaming. Oye, que estuvo bien recargado con algunos juegos de estreno, muy bueno. Así que, ¿qué les parece? ¿Qué les pareció, chiquillos? Hoy día.
I honestly would love to start off with Death Trash. I mean,
7.
post-apocalyptic vibe, had that classic twist. I just was like vibing with the protagonist. He had like
Un 7. Yo también, por lo menos un 7. Muy bueno
the look of this game. It was just giving
el evento. Así que yo me retiro, chicos. Muchísimas gracias por esta transmisión de manera conjunta hoy día. Gracias, Joystick. Si es que está escuchando.
Ya,
bueno, si no escuchó, ya.
Estaba en el baño.
Ya, así que yo me retiro, chiquillo. Sí, ya terminó. Así que yo me retiro, chiquillo. Gracias, Joystick. O sea, Kumite. Y gracias, John. Ya, que estén bien. Chaito. Chepo, estaba más tranquilo. Bueno, que no dice ningún comentario, deja sin comentarios. Ya, chiquillos, ya, cuídense, chaito.